Good evening, everybody. It is a Tuesday and it is Magnus Day. Two of the best days, clearly. How is everyone doing? Tonight, we're going to be carrying on getting this blue boy done. We've done a little bit more work on the hand. We've done quite a lot of work on his face. Now we just need to get the rest of this bad boy up to the same level. Here's where we're at right now. Got some highlights down, got a load of shadows down. Got at least 2 highlights to do on all of this section, and at least 1 more on everything else that is exposed before we can call this part done. In the chat today, we've got AJC72, Rocky Balboa, That Son Dez, MCG Jager, Dr. Derp, Sons of Rolo, Wooden Spoon Wargaming, Main Unit, Crown Blade, Viking. How you doing, guys? Rocky, thank you very much for that pre-show gift subscription. Des, I've already given you your meeps. How you doing with the heat humidity today? It's a shitty day. we don't deal well with that at all. If I'm honest, I don't really want to be doing this tonight. I feel got a little bit of a stomach upset. The heat is not helping me out, but I can't not, because today we're streaming, Thursday we're streaming, Sunday we're streaming. This is the last full week for a while. Next week, Tuesday we stream, but then no stream on Thursday. Flying to Gibraltar. A-Code! He's getting his sub on. Thank you very much, dude. Thank you. So Thursday, no stream. Not in this country. Sunday, no stream. I'll be celebrating winning, no retreat. Feel confident. And then the Tuesday after, there should be a stream. But depends on how I feel after coming back from the rock. So, got a stream today. Absolutely got a stream today. Cervantes, Elsgriff, how are you doing? So, this is where we're at. All I've done to the recesses is apply a little bit of a Drakenhof Nightshade. Just thinned it down, got it into all the little areas around here, like the little bits of muscles in the wrist, all the other dents and divots. It's darkened this boy down quite a lot. On everything else, I have done a mixture of Signal Blue base, Geraldine Turquoise, and Sickly Skin. We're going to get our wet palette sorted out with these 3 again, so we can get our first highlight done on this guy's top section from this pack all the way out to the end of his arm. I've done all of this section off stream, dealt with that. On last night's Hellstorm stream, we took the head up to this level. The brightness of those highlights is where we're going on some of this guy. Just to really, really make sure he pops. There's no Nuln Oil, you know that. There's no dry brushing, you know that. I mean, if you want, I'll dry brush him. We'll do the whole thing dry brushed. It'll be the easiest money I've made in a while. You're paying for it. Bit swampy. Yeah, it's not fun. But hey, what can you do, right? What can you do? Was that please do, please don't, you sure? Because you're the guy that's like always like, oh, dry brush it, put a brown bracer arm on, do all the other things that we know make minis look like shit. So, happy to take your lead, man. Well, the way I see the weather today is just practice for being in Jib next week. Oh yeah. No Sharpies. Anyone that uses pens, like colouring pens, to do a mini needs a kick in the dick. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. I don't care how tempting that might be. Just don't do it. Alright, here we go. So we've got a nice mix of those three paints. So our first highlight, to go up stages, we just add, quite simply, more sickly skin. Easy peasy. Thin that down a little. Even the wet palette's been having issues recently. Pro Jam, what up, dude? Rocky, peace out, man. It's been lovely. Finished work at 3 and got outside the reef for compilers. Nice, dude. Very nice. Alright. Let's get it on. So starting with the chest. As you see, we've got loads of muscle striations here. Just start picking those out. A lot of this is going to be hidden by the armor chest plate. So we're not going to make a huge feature out of this. But just on the off chance you happen to see some, we're starting just below where I believe the line will be for that armor panel. Diabulos 21. Thank you for that sub, dude, and welcome. John Slater, how you doing, bro? Master of Mankind was a cool book. I did like that. Wasn't my favourite Horus Heresy book, but it was a very good Horus Heresy book. That was Bowden, right? Or Bowden, rather. So just pick up a couple of quick lines on the top of his chest here. And as much as I don't want to do it, I'm going to put a glove on. Because I'm going to be grabbing hold of this dude. Don't want to get any oil from my skin on there, because that's going to interfere with our next highlights and so on. It's the wrong way round. Mr. Hobo J! How you doing, dude? Jake has finally decided to be a metagamer. Meta chaser. And did well on Sunday with his Space Wolves. And there was no stream on Sunday. Mark and I sat down, had a banging steak. Oh yeah. Mashed potato. Some nice tender stone broccoli. Brilliant. Got the whiskey out. Nice little dram of Macallan. Great evening. Great evening. Working through the Ragnar books at the moment. Nice. Crosby. It's Space Marines. That's it. Phew, excuse me. Oh. King Kappa Killer, what up? There's very gracious of you, man. Oh, first week back of football in 6 months. I'm feeling that in the morning. Are we talking American football? But Eradicators are scary if you're a player like myself that has nothing but vehicles where they do really, really good work, really, really efficiently. But Wolfen are where it's at with the Space Wolf list, man. Like Simon Miller, who is a good friend of mine, plays for Imps Gaming, and is an all-round general boss. Always runs Wolfen, and he has podiumed in a lot of GTs and majors. A lot of them. Storm Shield changes do hurt them. You're absolutely right. But it's still not that bad. You know, you got enough opportunity on a smaller board for first turn charges with Wolfen now. And if they die in combat, that's totally fine. It's kind of their job. Yeah, they'll take down whatever took them down. It's a definite, if I go down, I'm taking you with me moment. You know. Get a little bit of texture there on the neck. See a bit else. I had great fun at the weekend. I know Jake did. It was a grand event. There's no drama, no issues. It's all good. It's all good. You guys want to hear about my games, or should we just focus on Magnus? Happy to do either one. Chat can decide. Everyone was super chill. Yeah. Crosby was there, representing with the dog voice. One of three Space Wolf players out of 16 people. The Sons of Russ were well represented at this event. Okay, so we got some Maladeus. What up, brother? So plenty of people want to see, or hear at least, about how the games went, so we can go through it, and that's cool. So game one, mission was, I want to say, the Scouring. It was one where you had a weird deployment zone. You have like a square, or a rectangle in one of the on one of the short table edges. So you're playing down the table, the length of the table, not across the table. And I was playing against Grey Knights. 5 objectives, and you had to hold 2, hold 3, and hold more to get your primary points. So I knew going into the game that I was in an extremely tough spot. Grey Knights are maneuverable, especially my opponent's list. He had 20 Terminators in 3 units, a unit of 10 and 2 units of 5. No Paladins. He had 2 units of Inceptors, a 10 and a 5. He had a Purgator squad, no Strike squads, a Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight, Drago who's a weapon. That Titan sword is full boss mode. What else did he have? Was that it? Oh, he had 2 units of Servitors. Sneaky. And 2 Apothecaries. And a Chaplain? He had 1 Chaplain. Yeah, 1 Chaplain, Drago, and the GMNDK, plus 2 Apothecaries in elite slots. So he's got enough characters in there. He's got a lot of psychic powers coming out. And because of the mission, because he's got things like Gate and stuff like that, I'm a little worried that he's going to get onto the middle objective, easily hold 2 of his own, pen me in a little bit, and I was going to suffer. Also, Grey Knights are not to be underestimated when it comes to their ability to remove large minis from the game, due to the fact they've got a stratagem that gives, I think it's +1 to wound or reroll wounds, I don't remember, once you've targeted a unit. So you can really start putting the hurt on, especially if you're in the right tide, and do a lot of damage. Now terrain, I made sure when I set the terrain up was pretty good for all of the missions. Everyone will be able to get a large portion of their army hidden, unless you were me. I was the only player who wouldn't have been able to do that. Drunk Mystic, what up? But I'm never going to stack the terrain on an event that I'm running to be in my favour. That's a no. That's just shitty. You shouldn't do that. We rolled forward the deployment. As far as missions go, I took the somewhat obvious ones. I took Kill More because I'm playing Knights into someone that isn't playing Knights. I took Assassinate to kill all his characters. He had 5 characters. I could max it. I was probably guaranteed to get 3 over the course of the game. Feeling okay about that. An easy enough 9 points, but a harder 15. And then I took Aboard the Witch because as I have no Psychers and he has an entire army of them, I can easily just get those points. And it means that all of my secondaries would kill secondaries. So I didn't have to worry about having to be on a particular objective. I didn't have to worry about being in a specific spot on the board. I could just react to his army. And as long as I held the primary, we'd be okay. So turn 1 went to myself. And he gave me first turn. Now, if you can hide everything in 9th edition, giving your opponent first turn is the best thing. Because they can't get out onto the objectives without exposing themselves. And then you get to react to their movement, take out the things that they've got on the objectives, and then you can snowball that effect forward throughout the game. So I knew that this guy knew what he was doing as soon as he did that. There was no hesitation. It was like, yep, cool, you can go first, dude. Alright. Cool. Need to be aware this guy is not a mong. You know, he knows his stuff. He's chosen the wise choice. I just have to be able to deal with the Grey Knights doing what they do. He started off in a Tide of Shadow, which meant that all of his units, because of the way the wording is in the rulebook, count as being in cover. And because they count as being in cover, due to the Tide of Shadow, they also get the secondary benefit of it, which is that they're -1 to hit. And the only thing that doesn't affect is the Nemesis Dread Knight and the Servitors. The Servitors went into outflank. The Purgation squad and both Inceptor squads went into Deep Strike. The Servitors, both units of 4 of those went into Strategic Reserves. I'll explain why in a bit. And so the only thing that I could do in turn 1 was move 2 of my knights. I had a Helverin and a Crusader that, because of a slight misjudgment on his part, could see his Nemesis Dread Knight Grandmaster, which meant that we rexed it around the corner and up the board. We kept relatively centered so we could deny a mass deep strike early on. We wanted to just sort of pad out a little bit but not cause any issues for myself in turn 2 onwards. And managed to get his Nemesis Dread Knight down to 4 wounds, which was useful. Having that guy bracketed, yeah, that was handy. Not the end of the world that it didn't kill it, but it did stop me getting a kill point on my first turn. So already not off to a good start. We've taken just kill secondaries, and we're not killing anything. It's a bit of a rough beginning for the Knights. So we move on. he has his turn. His Terminator squad with Stormbolters gets all the buffs on, moves out, goes into the tide of shoot, and rip a hole in one of my Crusaders. Dude gets taken down, 12 wounds. I'm like, alright, that was unnecessary, but okay. Is what it is. One of the apothecaries was in Deep Strike as well. And that's going to come up important now. In my second turn, I managed to get a kill. We got into position and we just about took out a unit of 5-man Terminator squad. Couldn't get any lines of sight on anything. He was using Edict Imperator and Astral Aim to great effect to move his guys out, shoot, get back inside a building. He was burning his command points to be sure that was happening. He was working on that 3d6 cast, throw away the lowest. So it was costing him to do this, but he had the CP to spare. He's obviously gaining one every turn just for being Battleforged, but he was also gaining one every turn as a result of his psychic power as well. So I knew we could keep this up for a while. What I needed to do was make him come to me, and so I'd managed to take, in my first turn, most of the objectives in the first half. Couldn't quite get to the middle objective without an advance, but we did get up onto there quite quickly. So I've started to score the primary. Now I know that if I run away with the primary, then cool. We're going to probably be okay in the game, because all I've got to do is just keep shooting his stuff, and eventually he'll have to come out to try and challenge me in the primary. So we were probably going to be okay. We just had to survive the inevitable onrush of Grey Knights coming out of Deep Strike. Look at the change that these highlights have had on this lower section of arm already. We haven't even got to the cool stuff yet with this Mark of Zench, but just a few highlights down there has already started to darken down our shadows because of the contrast. Some good work here. Still a few more to do. Missed a couple of prominent areas to get a highlight down. Obviously we've got another couple of coats to do as well, build it a little bit brighter. I'll really amp that contrast. There you go. So here's turn 2. Here's where he drops in everything apart from the servitors. George, how you doing, bud? Also, Chav Hunter, how's it going? So in come a apothecary, and he pays some CP so that the apothecary can deep strike within 3 inches of one of my units. And I'm like, alright. Didn't expect you to do it with that, but okay, that's cool. So he's just 3 inches away, so obviously I can't heroic intervene, and he's put it right next to one of my Crusaders. Alright. I'm not sure where this is going, but we'll see. He dropped in his Inceptors, he moved his Terminators up. There's a lot of nasty stuff starting to come my way now, and I'm like, well, this is the turn we need to be okay. The Purgation squad came in. So, we get to his Psychic phase. In his Psychic phase, he's writing to spend a CP to use 3 dice and discard the lowest, and to cast Inner Fire with my Apothecary and spend another CP to increase the range of his Psychic power by 6 inches. Which means that suddenly, rather than that being a close combat spell only, where it would normally have a 1-inch range, this Apothecary gets to roll 3 dice, throw away the lowest one, and as long as the spell is cast, he takes however many the total was on those dice, rolls that many dice, and then on 3s does mortal wounds. When he said that, I'm like, alright. Average should be like 8. That's going to suck. I've got 13 wounds. It's going to force a lot of shooting from him still, I think. But okay. So when he rolled 11 on the number, I was like, all right, we're in a little bit of trouble. Then every single one of those became a mortal wound. So you go from 13 wounds to 2. Shit. And at that point, I thought about using the strat to give me feel no pain against the mortal wounds. And I thought, realistically, I'm going to say 2 or 3. It's not worth it. He's going down anyway. So, okay, we'll save our CP. And then he pumped up all of the guns on his 10-man Terminator unit. Their Stormbolters went wild. Fired into that knight. Blew him to pieces. Job done. Okay. It happens. George, Magnus should be blue. I don't care what anyone says. There's his head. There's his hand. For those that want to know where the hand is, I guess. Crash Test UK. I think Ninth is great for combat armies. I think the problem right now that combat armies are facing is that most places don't have enough terrain to correctly play 9th edition. And we're also not really playing 9th edition yet. We're playing Index 9th edition because no one's got a codex. And there's a load of things that are going to be changed to enable armies to play the game the way that they're intended to. So just be patient, man. Just be patient. Combat armies will definitely shine again. Definitely shine again. He spent the rest of his turn shooting into another knight, did a couple of wounds, nothing crazy. And unfortunately, that was a mistake. What James had done is he planned out every part of his turn based on everything going sort of in an average fashion. And this is something that you need to be able to deal with when you're playing 40k at a competitive level. Sometimes things won't go to plan. But sometimes that doesn't mean they've gone badly. It means that they've gone so well that you need to change your plan to be more efficient with the rest of your turn. Sanding the joint clean. Like, I've tried to clear all of the gaps on this. There's a couple that aren't perfect, which is unfortunate. I thought they were. But it's the first time I've worked on such a large-scale model, essentially, especially with this amount of bare flesh. Like, you can see there's a joint there that's actually pretty deep, but fortunately it's in an area that should have a recess anyway, so it's not the end of the world. So because his inner fire had gone so well, and he nearly killed that knight with that, what he should have done is just put a few little bits of shooting into my warlord to get rid of him. He then could have probably dropped another knight down to at least half, if not below. And because he got sort of tunnel visioned into sticking to the plan, that really cost him. Because I knew that Crusader was going to die anyway. I'd made peace with that. I was hoping it would take most of the turn for it to die rather than die so quickly, but it's okay. That's fine. Got no issues with that. But if he hadn't done what he did, I'd have probably been in a very difficult position. But because he overcommitted to something, it was a guaranteed kill. Just chip 2 wounds off a knight. Which guaranteed kill. Have you ever met anyone famous who invented Games Workshop in the 40k universe? Yeah. Jez Goodwin, Rick Priestley. Jarvis Johnson, Andy Chambers, Mike McVeigh. I worked in the studio for a bit, so you know, some of these people were just people I knew. Both the Perrys. Used to drink with them in Bugman's. So, yeah, a couple. They're just normal people. They've created this wonderful, amazing thing. But they're all nice guys. Just normal dudes. What you should have done is move Drago over to his Purify unit with Gate. He should have done a few other different bits and pieces. And then he probably would have rinsed 2 knights, and that would have meant that I was going to lose the game. But because he didn't, I still had the midboard. I was still on the objectives. I cleaned up the 10-man unit of Terminators. I cleaned up both Inceptor squads with a combination of charges and shooting. And he didn't really have anything left then to threaten a knight. And as soon as you can't threaten the knights, you've lost. Chokehold is set in, just waiting for you to tap out. That's it. Which meant the next turn, the Servitors came on, then they died. Drago used Gate. He was stood in a ruin, tried for a 9-inch charge, he failed it, and then unceremoniously died to a single Helverin, just a little bit of Daka. The Smear, I would probably do everything separate because it's easy to get to. If you've done them so that they can be taken off, do it that way. George is always fun. Always fun. And James was a great opponent. That's the second time we've played. I played his Admech before. He was actually the guy that we were talking about on stream the other day, where I said charged a unit of his Rangers and stamped all over him with a Crass Gallant. Had the worst set of rolls ever and didn't kill a single one that then took a wound off of me. So we did nothing to 5 Rangers. He was that guy. It was hilarious. So really good opponent. Looking forward to another game with him at some point in the future. I won that game. Let's see what the score was. It was 97 to 30. That was the score. 97-30. The only thing that we dropped any points on whatsoever was we didn't get a kill in that first turn to max to 100 points. Had we been a little bit luckier with our thermal cannon shots, I'll print you one, getting his sub down. Thank you very much, Danny. Hope you had a good birthday weekend and so on, mate. But yeah, strong win going into game 2. Sometimes you don't want to do that. Sometimes you want to take a lesser win and playing it someone that just sort of snuck by. And I was kind of worried that in game 2, I'd end up playing either Nick with his Salamanders, who I lost to last time, Mark Cromblehome with his Eldari, Harlequin and Drukari mix, or Sam Hogg with his Harlequins, who I knew was probably going to do well on the day at Bike Spam Harlequins. Unfortunately, I didn't have to play Nick with his Sallies, who, if he goes first, probably just flat out wins the game just on the sheer brutality of the Marine list. Awesome, dude. Always get an air rush. If in doubt, air rush. That's simple. Tootie Sprues, thank you for that host, brother. So I ended up playing Mark instead. Mark's list is terrifying for me. Mark runs 60 racks with the Prophets of Flesh rules. So they've all got a 4 up invulnerable save. A couple of homunculus, which means those racks are going to start at strength 5. They don't do much offensively, but I know they're going to do things like raise banners. They're going to do things like just be all over the OBSEC stuff, meaning I can't get to it. They're going to block me quite well. It was going to be a bit of a job to clear any of those. He then runs 40 Harlequin troops. 40 Harlequin troops. Each unit's got a couple of fusion pistols in it, then a mixture of caresses, kisses, and then 5 guys with swords. So they're able to do a lot of work. They've all got a 4-pin vulnerable save. That's a pain to get through. They can break the same rules of the game I can. They can charge and fall back and shoot and then recharge and everything else. Also, fusion pistols, a little bit worrying, not going to lie. He had the Murder Master, which is a troop master with the blade, whose name I've forgotten, the relic blade, plus the I get 1 attack extra for each battle round that we're in. So like it's here on battle round 4, he gets 4 extra attacks. So he had all of that going on. That's the pivotal role. And Solitaire plus a Death Jester and a Shadow Seer. So decent army. Toony Sprues, you missed the first part of this, you know. Let's just catch up, mate. Watch the VOD. Go chill out on YouTube and watch it back then. He also had the the mask that gave him +1 attack on the charge. So when he gets into combat, he does do a significant amount of attacks with these guys, which can lead to a lot of damage. It's Dawn of War. 6 objectives, hold 1, hold 2, hold more. So didn't have to hold 4 to try and get max points in the primary. Feeling okay about that. But my god, there's a lot of stuff there with a 4-pin bowl, and it can all do damage to me in combat. It's just a bit rough. Finding out that Troop Masters just give you a flat reroll to wounds is crazy. Yeah, just reroll wound rolls. Like what? Just like once? No, all of them. That shit me up every single time that was happening. So winning on 5s, here's a load, and then I reroll all these, and here's a load more. Could have gone really badly in just a single close combat phase. Like that could have spelt doom for a night. I had first turn, which I gladly took. I threw a Crusader at the middle of the board, 1 up each flank, because there were objectives towards the centre that I wanted to be on. Needed to be on those, had to be on those. Even if just to sort of keep him away. If I could stand directly on top of the objective, it means that whenever he comes in, I get to heroically intervene, at least try and deal with a unit that's there. But we got at the front, Hellbrinds went around the sides, and we put everything into 1 unit of Rax. He is very blue. We killed a unit of Rax. I took Killmore, I took Recon, and I took Assassinate. Thinking his characters to get the most out of them, especially when you think about the Solitaire and the Troop Masters, they kind of want to be in combat. So you're probably going to be able to deal with those as a Knight player. And if not, well, the game was going badly enough anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to thin this down a little bit more. I'm starting to dry out on the palette now with the heat. It's just gross today. It's just gross. I killed, in the first turn, a couple of Harlequins out of 1 unit and a unit of Rax out of all of my firepower. It took everything to kill that unit of Rax. And I just immediately thought, alright, that's cool. We're going to have one of those games where nothing does the damage it's meant to do. We can write this one off. No issue. And then Mark ran out for his first turn. Everything came bounding down the middle, which I was totally okay with because there's no objective in the middle of the table. But he had 3 units of Harlequins plus all his characters funnel into the centre of the table. he ran a couple of units forward on either side to get to those objectives that were center league. So you had like a grid, 2 objectives in the middle there, 2 here and 2 here. It's like a hexagon shape, right? So all they really had to deal with on the outermost objectives was a unit of racks and a homunculus on one side and just a unit of racks on the other. I'm like, alright. That I can probably deal with. Did some shooting, which was pretty much ineffectual. We managed to save a lot of the fusion pistol damage. I think it's got like 7 wounds or something from fusion pistols off of the one knight in the center. Charged in, and the Murder Master immediately steps up to the front. It's like, I will take this. How long have we been playing for? About 43 minutes. No, in general, about 20 years, but really trying to improve my game. 5 years, maybe 6. Everything apart from that was just like get it on the table, but during sort of that set of time, it was all about just increasing the quality, starting to up our game on stuff. Thanks for the compliment, man. I really appreciate it. But anyway, the Murder Master goes in. Not only does this guy get +1 to wound, +1 to damage, reroll all his wounds. After he's done all of his fighting, the target just takes 2 mortal wounds. That's it. Just have 2 mortal wounds. So my knight, like I said, was on something like 17 wounds or so. Murder Master put me down to 5. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's 12 damage. Shit. This is going to go badly now. Not only have we've sort of flubbed it a bit on our offensive output, we're now not able to defend very well. So this is going to be one of those games, isn't it? Alright. At this point, I interrupted and I asked Mark if he had a fight on death strat, and he said he did. So, alright, cool. So instead of fighting the murder machine, I turned around and killed 1 unit of Harlequins that was just far enough after a charge to give him max points on recon for a turn. So I figured that spending 2 CP to deny him 3 victory points throughout the game was a good trade, because if I was going to come out of this spot that I was in now, then my chances of winning the game were slim, so I needed to limit his score as much as possible. He then retaliated with the rest of his Harlequins, but couldn't quite kill the knight. He got him down to 2 wounds. Dismay, if you've got a Best Coast Pairing subscription, you can find them there. Go to the Bad Luck Brawl. And the last Sisters list I played was at one of the Hellstorm RTTs. I think it was Let's Take It Easy or something was the name of the event. Now, this was a problem for Mark because he'd made a mistake, and it's not often that happens to the guy. The Murder Master does not have a fight on death stratagem, which is what he believed he had. He did have a fight twice stratagem, which he'd forgotten. So if he'd used fight twice, that knight would have died, because I only had 2 wounds left, which means even if he'd done no damage to me whatsoever, I'd have taken 2 mortal wounds, and that would have been enough to kill me, unless I'd managed to pop my stratagem and just roll 1 5+. But I was in a tough spot. Jake, by the time you've typed it, it's too late. So apologies for whenever this happens, you know. But it's too late by that point. Thank you, though. For nothing. So because of that, it's cost him a lot in his first turn. He hasn't dropped a knight, even with all the fusion and the Murder Master. I then activate it to full profile, obviously. I start doing some movement. We've disengaged from combat, so we've boosted the guy up to full profile. And I've just moved out of combat. Yeah, there's Harlequins in the middle. I moved out of combat and dropped my knight down next to his characters. He had the Death Jester, the Solitaire, the Troop Master, and the Shadow Seer all in a group. And Mark pulled the stratagem out so he could shoot when I fell back from combat. And I'm like, alright, I'll rotate. I've only got 2 wounds left. Well, 3, because I've just gone up 1 for the Mechanicus house benefit. And the fusion pistols went in and either missed or failed to wound. Just like, oh, phew. And then we carried on the movement phase. I started drawing up lines of sight to stuff, making sure everything was moved, making sure everything was in the right positions and so on. And Mark said, oh, hang on. I'm going to use my ability, I've forgotten what it's called, where my 3 characters all jump up from the battlefield and they go and hide for a minute and then they come down at the end of the phase. And I was like, wow, that's really, really powerful. Yeah, it's super good, super good. You got to use that at the start of the phase? I don't know. Let me check. You do have to use it at the start of the phase. Which is unfortunate, because that way there was then 3 characters that do not want to be shot by a knight right in front of said knight. It turns out Solitaires, even with a 3 invulnerable save, don't like Endless Fury. That's a no. That's a solid no, and they're not a fan of that at all. Shadow Seers do tend to get a little bit crispy under thermal cannons. And God bless the new character targeting rules of 9th edition, because that's so good. So that's a big blunder from Mark. Twice now. Once that he forgot the Fight Twice ability, which, Fight Twice strat rather, I should say. And then another one for that one. Hero's Path, that's what it's called. Hero's Path. So we're back in the game now at this point. During that turn, we killed a lot of Harlequin troop. I think there was 1 full-size unit and a couple left. We killed a couple of racks. And I completely misunderstood the rules for... what's it called? Black Cornucopians. So Black Cornucopians is very much the Drukhari rack version of the Orcs' Green Tide and the Tide of Traitors and stuff like that. Now, I thought it was you had to take a unit that was not full, so it had a few losses. You remove them from play and set them back up, similar to Tide, similar to Green Tide. And so I was killing every rack unit. I was putting everything into it just to drop it to the last man. You were overcommitting to it at times. And then I found out that that actually wasn't the case. And that a unit of racks can do it. You don't have to be of a certain size or have taken any casualties. There you go, there's the hand. Let's amp this highlight up a little bit, mix in some more of that sickly skin. Just going to remix my base coat. I'm running out of that, start drawing the palette because hot right now. So yeah, that was something that I learned from that game, was I didn't have to worry too much about that strat being what I thought it was going to be. Helped me out a lot. Mark then proceeded to just about fail to kill that 2-Wern Crusader every turn until his turn 4, by which point it's way too late. I've had 3 Crusaders for 4 of my own turns. That's not going to help. Finished the game. 93 points to mid 40s, I want to say. 93-point victory against one of the best Eldar players in the world with Knights into what I believe was a definite hard counter for my list. There are a couple out there that just kill Knights, and I honestly thought I'm not going to be able to do enough damage, I'm not going to be able to get the mission, but we managed it. Fish clients are super strong, and good evening. So, I was feeling good. We've now gone positive again, back on our home turf. This is important. Really needed that to happen. We were somewhat down in the dumps a little bit after our last performance at Atlantic. Feeling good about things now. I'm hoping, though, that a certain person in the chat here, Mr. Hobo J, has scored enough points in his games to mean that I play him in the final and not play Mr. Sam Hogg, who also had Harlequins. But his Harlequin list was even worse than my list than Mark's. The Dismayer, you say that, but the game isn't all about doing damage. And when I say Mark is one of the best Eldar players in the world, I genuinely mean it. His list is terrifying. His list in Game 3 scored nearly 100 points against Salamanders and destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed them. Despite losing 35 Harlequins in turn 1. He rinsed Nick. Mark knows exactly what he's doing with that list. And that is a rough list. It outscores and outlasts a lot of stuff. And that's all you need to do to win a game. That list can win a game without firing a shot. Put it that way. But in the last game, I did have to play Harlequin bikes, and they are an extremely good unit. By themselves, they're decent. When you add in Shadowseer buffs for -1 to wound, when they're also -1 to hit, when you have Feel No Pain on a big unit with a solid radius from a Shadowspear, then yeah, they are horrifying, especially against my army. It's Best Coast Pairings. So if you subscribe to Best Coast Pairings, you can view lists that have been submitted to other events. And for anyone interested in competitive 40k or just overall sort of army planning and like meta shifting and stuff like that, get yourself a subscription. It's some really good reading. You can check out the top X of tournaments, go through them and see what's what. We had the creator of Best Coast Pairings in a stream not long ago. We had a chat to him, which was great. Got some insights on some things that I have known for a while are coming up with BCP. They're really good. Really good organization. And you can get a lot out of that subscription. So I played Sam, and the game plan was to go first. And it did not go to plan. If I'd gone first, then no 3-up invulnerable on unit of advancing bikes, or 2 because you will do another move in the second phase, Twilight Pathways. So that's 2 of them getting a 3-up invulnerable save. And he deleted a Crusader in the first turn, which was expected, if I'm honest. Even with my strat to try and reduce the number of mortal wounds, he did a disgusting amount of them, and it was very, very painful. But there was a catch to this. All of Sam's unit came flying through, disembarked his Murder Master from the transport because he had the correct trait to do so. So there's a little building, a little L-shaped building, about 3 inches high. Got a Helverin behind it that the Murder Master's going to go into and finish off. There's a couple of transports that have moved up the front, the Sky Weavers. There's these bikes all on the one flank sweeping round. And I know I'm in trouble. But he kills the Crusader. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, do I pay the 2 CP? Do I what's within 7 inches? Like, this is. Fuck it, we'll do it. Pay 2 CP, blew up the knight. Alright. 9-inch radius. Alright, we're going to hit a bit more than I thought. This is good. I hit 2 of my knights. I did 3 damage to a Helverin. I did 1 damage to another Crusader. I can live with that. I took 4 wounds off a unit of bikes. I killed the Murder Master. Stone dead. 6 for wounds. That's it. He's out of there. Took a transport down to a wound. Killed another transport. 6 wounds. Boom. When that transport died, it didn't explode, but 3 of the Harlequins inside did die getting out. Did a fair few wounds on bikes. I'm like, well, it's still not a good trade, but it's okay. I can live with that. This is a better retaliation already than I thought I was going to have. The Murder Master being down, that was pretty big. So, feeling okay. However, Sam then did drop another knight. He killed a Helverin. So I'm left with 2 Crusaders and 2 Helverins against a pretty much complete Harlequin force. Was not good. Was not good. I managed to do a little bit of damage in my first turn, but nothing like the damage output I needed. Didn't kill a unit of bikes. We got 1 unit down quite low, but wasn't enough, which means his second turn he killed another big knight. He killed another Helverin. No, he didn't. He killed it down really, really low. The rest of Sam's list, as well as being a load of bikes, was a load of Star Weavers with units of 5 troop. Each troop had 5 fusion pistols in it. So it was really, really hurting. However, we managed to fight back. We were doing okay. At the start of the game, after the way it was going, I said to Sam, look, mate, I'm probably, even including painting, not going to score 30 points in this game. There's nothing I can do here. I'm getting absolutely smashed in because your list completely counters mine. There's nothing I can do. My toughness doesn't save me from your mortal wounds. My invulnerable saves don't save me from your mortal wounds. You've got a list that absolutely decks mine over. And we're done. That's it. But we carried on. We were trying to reduce Sam's own point gaining to try and knock him out of first spot. He won the last event. I had a buddy in second place, perhaps. Well, actually, I guess by that point he was in third or fourth place. But he could definitely take first or second if Sam didn't score highly enough. So I was trying to help out Jake, see if I get him that first spot. And I did manage to stop Sam getting a perfect score. And I did score a lot more than I thought. With some clever plays, a little bit of tricky sort of maneuvering. Did manage to come out with 52 points. Maxed Assassinate. Got nothing on Recon at all. everything was dying before it got in a position where I could score any. Oh wait, no, that's a lie. I got 3 points on recon for the entire game. So super handy that. Loved having recon. Night secondaries are super shit right now. We need some more. And got kill more for every turn because of that explosion. Had it not been for that, we wouldn't have gotten kill more. Oh wait, no, that's a lie. Sam was trying to reduce my points and stopped me from getting a kill more in the last round by using the strat to follow someone that disengages from combat. And he just caught a Helver and it had been tied up by some Harlequin troops. So it was a shame. So I scored 2 games in the very high 90s against Grey Knights and Harlequins. Very happy about that. And didn't completely embarrass myself in another game against a Harlequin list that is the hard counter to my list. So relatively happy with that. I can't complain. You know, that's the state of the game at the moment. It's a little rock, paper, scissors at times. It's not always, but at times. So I had a decent weekend. I've been happy with the games that we played. But Jake won all 3 of his games. With an army he had never played at an event until that day. He'd played about 2 games with the Space Wolves. Game 1, he played against the Imperial Fist army, smashed him. Game 2, I can't remember who he played, but I've got a feeling it was another Space Wolves army. It was another Space Wolves army. Yeah. And in game 3, he played Death Watch. So he played nothing but Marines. All day. Came out in 2nd place. Which meant the battle for 3rd place was highly contested. And with only 9 points in it. Only 9 points in it. I beat Mark Cromblehome to be 3rd spot, leaving Mark in 4th. What a great feeling. What a day. So that's 2 3rd place finishes in a row for the Knights at RTTs. Oh, I'd like to point out as well, not only did Jake win all those games, he won all those games with an army that was just grey plastic, bar 1 impulsor. That's it. So he didn't even get those 10 points. Despite that, if he'd been given 10 points for each one of those games that he played, he'd have come 2nd by 10 points overall. That's it. Get your toy soldiers painted, guys. Especially you, Jacob. Get on that shit. No excuse. Alright. Just got a few more highlights to do on Magnus' chest. And then we're going to finish off the blue for a sec. And start working in some of the details. Sam is a good player. And he is a great guy. Yeah. Totally nice dude. We've only played twice, now it's 1-1. First game we played was his Necrons at Big. This was prior to Jim adopting ITC style rules for terrain. So I lined up Crusaders and shot Necrons off the table for 3 turns, and then there wasn't much left. Managed to come along very well, thank you very much. Yeah, digging him. Just getting a few more of these little blue highlights down. Just picking up some of the extra detail. And then get stuck on. Get some of the actual details painted then. God, it's so humid. My nose is just doing nothing but running today. Well, this was the Bad Luck Brawl. Held on Sunday, 13th, hence the name. It was also the 17th anniversary of my headache. I've had that for now just over 17 years. Love that. So I had a great weekend. I played Damien on the Saturday night. And taught him a thing or two. Damien won the role for choice of deployment and hid his entire army. Then he won the role for choice of first or second turn and took first turn despite me telling him not to. And if he'd gone second, he very possibly would have won that game. But he didn't. And it was a 96-30-ish game. All about those tactics. Got to be absolutely spot on with your decision making. On the Friday, I had a great evening. Went and had dinner with a very, very nice lady. And that went very well. Seeing her again on Thursday, early in the evening for a coffee. Right. It is 10:05. Ordinarily, we do this on a Sunday, but we won't stream on Sunday. Those of you that are in the know will know that every month we give away a miniature painted by me in a colour scheme of your choice. Last month's mini, which I meant to give the new owner on Sunday, was this Imperial Fist. As you can see, there's been some freehand. Beautiful yellow. Nice bit of basing. This guy looks the shit. Love him. Now, this month, the plethora of prizes that you could choose from, exclamation point mystery in the chat, are the limited edition Sergeant Job store anniversary miniature. This guy, though he is painted as an Ultramarine, does not need to be. There is no embossment on the shoulder pads. This guy is completely squared away, ready to be any chapter that you want. This is the first of the 3 choices in this month's contest. Let's invent a second one, because we didn't do this on Sunday. I like this mini, and this was donated to the channel by one of our viewers. And in honour of his first ever tournament podium position, Mr. Hobo J was the person that donated this. This is such a cool mini. Such a cool mini. I think their official paint scheme leaves something to be desired from about that point upwards. We're going to make this look so much better. Gloomspike gets Loon Boss with the Age of Sigmar stuff going on. It's basically a grot. I said we'd be giving away a grot at some point. This guy looks sick. Very cool sculpt. Loads of detail on this stuff. And the mushrooms are just the most amazing thing. This little weird tentacle dude with eyes. This guy with a little face going on. They're so cool. So cool. So there's this guy up for grabs this month. And of course, if you didn't want either of those two, you could choose the mystery box. Don't know what's in there. I know what's in there. But there's that option as well. It's always going to be the mystery box option. We've had, so far in the mystery box, what have we had? Had our Wraithlord. That was cool to paint. What went to fish. Very much enjoyed that. We had that Terminator. And we had the Nurgle dude from the Wormsplat, one of the Beastgrave boxes. The guy with the 2 axes. That got painted up as a D&D mini. And that was very, very cool as well. This time could be a really good one. It's a solid pedigree that we've had there. Tell you what, let's paint his eyeball, because I want to paint something that's not blue right now. So to grab a little bit of Kador Red. Mushrooms will be fun to paint. Yes, they will. He's just a great mini. Like, I'm never, ever going to collect Age of Sigmar as an army. Not really. I've got a demon army that I could use for it, but I'm not interested in playing it. Because it's not 40k. That's it, right? Yeah. But some of the sculpts are amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we've got some Trollsdet Orange, some Kador Red base. We're getting some Flash Gitz Yellow on deck as well. The models are indeed beautiful, mate. And then let's also grab a little bit of Menoth White Highlight. One of the best colours from P3's range. I'm going to do a nice bright orange glowing eye. Not to have it casting light, just to have it glowing a little from the inside. So start off with that red. Give this a good base coat of that. It's going to take a couple. Doesn't matter. I'm going to paint all of the eyeball. Do 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 do. You started the wings on Magnus? No, haven't even undercoated them. That's the next step. Doing all the wings, doing all of the feathers on the boy. Get all of that done. It's going to be painted white in like a mother of pearl-esque fashion. Spray it down. Go again. Just going to get some fresh water. So you're going to do white with undertones of purple, green. A little bit of a scarlet colour, perhaps. Who knows? Possibly not. Might just be purple and green. It's gonna look cool. Yeah, showing metallic but in white. It's imagine, you know how what a like oil spill looks like when it's rained. You get all those different colours, that sort of rainbow coming through. Imagine that, but on white. That's kind of it. Yes, return it. Definitely return it. It's not a bad airbrush, but it's not as easy to use. I want to be able to mix paint in the pot of mine, and that one with the small cup size. Nobody likes a small cup size, you know. Let's try it down again. Okay. Start mixing in some Trollsdet Orange now. Keep it nice and thin, keep it glazy. We don't want to step our colour changes up too quickly either. Let's remove a lot of the paint from the brush. Sorry, dude. look, end of the day, you've just spent a lot of money on an airbrush. You should definitely make sure you get the one that you want. Yeah, if it was a tenner, fuck it, just go and buy another one, right? Keep it, have both, whatever. But it's not. It's a significant investment in a tool that you will use for your painting. And so you absolutely should. Oh wait, competitive wargaming, invading coming. I'm feeling the art of war. I'm feeling this could be the art of war. Bigger is always better. I mean, I've never thought I'd really like a bigger herniated disc. You know, I can give you an example of somebody in prison that smaller would have been better. You know, I've never once thought I'd like to be stabbed by a bigger knife. Thank you. Bigger's not always better. It is frequently. There they are! I knew it! Competitive wargaming. Absolutely. Absolutely told tales on you. He gave me the warning. How are you guys doing? It's the art of war. Let's get the hype in the stream for these boys. What were you folk up to this evening? Who was streaming? What were you painting? How's things in general? Nurgle Matthew coming in with a wah. Punk Vox getting that hype emote. What's a good entry airbrush to experiment with? A cheap Chinese one. That's it. Like, if it's your first airbrush ever, just go on Amazon, search for airbrush with compressor, and then find something that's dual action with a compressor with a tank that's got a lot of cleaning stuff added into it for a cheap price. That's it. My old compressor still works. It's Ben's on permanent loan. World of Gaming TV. Totally right. Yeah, you can get cheap airbrushes for priming. I still use my Eclipse for priming because I don't want to keep changing it out. Basically, that's the only reason. Competitive 40k all day. Brilliant with the robot and the hype lab. Love it. For the Lion, Ridge Runners, Total War at the end, bit of paint at the end. Oh, nice, dude. Nice, I do like the Ridge Runners, they're cool. Someone there thinking, getting the GC Cult back out on the table. Bit of a mechanized force, perhaps. But this paint is not behaving. Temperature here is crazy. Motor arrived, now 2 Iron Striders, 6 Raiders to paint. Nice, dude. Everyone should be following the Art of War. Some phenomenal hobby bosses, some actual legends on that chat. And of course, they do one of the best 40k podcasts for that time. So we're just building up the orange on this eye. And we're trying to stop this from getting much texture on it, but because of the weather, where it is a bit warm and sweaty, it's affecting the paint. So being very, very gentle with our glazes on this. We've just finished working up through red into Trollstar orange. You see there's a little bit of that red just around the rim there, giving us that nice little bit of darker shadow. We're going to work this up into yellow, into a nice bright pastel yellow in the very center to give this a full-on like life of its own. We're streaming for 10 hours today. Good to lay down, relax my back, and watch an actually pro paint. Oh, dude, thank you very much. I know what that's like. I know what it's like. Exclamation point Cron in the chat. You'll get a link to a YouTube video that's only 30, well, I think it's about 25 minutes long. But it is the recap of a 40.5-hour stream that we did, not last weekend, not the weekend before, the one before that, where I painted 2,500 points of Necrons in one weekend. Oh, the pain was real, dude. Sir Mortarian, I'm afraid this is Sir Magnus, but you were nearly there. Thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. So yeah, you have my my sympathies, bud. Right, added in some yellow. Again, keeping it super thin. And just take our time. What a beautiful, beautiful colour this is against that blue, though. Might do his hair next. No, you should definitely do the wings, not the hair. You should definitely do the wings, not the hair. Love his big rock hair, though. Need to finish an army. Need to finish an army hire TTS for a tournament. Oh, tabletop standard, right? I thought you were like tabletop simulator, and I'm like, you don't paint any of that. That's just weird. I understand. Nice, dude. What are you painting? Is this the Ridge Runners? Needs to be more. Yeah, I guess, mate. Yeah. Everyone had their lockdown fix on TTS. I did not like it at all. Saboteur Marines. Can we get a banning on this guy, please? That's a straight ban now. Mate, someone's got to play him. I love Marines. I think Marines are awesome. But they are definitely like the bad guys of 40k right now. Especially on that competitive scene, yeah. They're the bogeymen. Good old Baba Yaga. So look how bright that eyeball is already. We're not even into full yellow yet. Not even into full yellow. Competitive Uno on TTS. I can see that. Competitive wargaming, I totally understand, man. I play Imperial Knights. That's my main army. I consider myself extremely, extremely good with them. To the point where I rarely lose. But some of those lists, mate. I never lost to Imperial Fists when they had their Siegebreaker cohort bullshit. That took some doing. World of Gaming TV, thank you for that follow. But yeah, it's a rough place for my army, certainly, and everyone else I know is feeling the pinch. If you can't beat them, join them. I get it. I've got a Primaris army upstairs that I haven't played in since January, so call that 8 months. Perhaps maybe a little longer, like a couple of days, but yeah. I will do a Marine army again, because I love Marines. I think Marines are sick. And I love the fact that they are represented on the tabletop in the same fashion that they are represented in the lore. They are the supreme badasses. From a gameplay perspective, fuck Marines, and I hope all Marine players have like unpleasant dreams. We'll stay calm. Right, and mix in a little of that Mouth White highlight now. Working it into pure yellow. You start brightening it up a little bit more, pastel it out a little. Start bringing that glow. Get that heat. The dismay, it just comes down to control. Yeah, that's right, Des. I think that was the last time I played him was January 19th. So yeah, so in that case, 8 months minus 4 days. But yeah, it all comes down to just like getting your reps in with the airbrush, learning that control, being confident with it. That's the key. Confidence is always key. If you're sort of rattling around a little bit, if you're unsure, you're going to make mistakes. If you just go at something confidently, you're less likely to make that mistakes. You Marine players love me too. I mean, thanks, man. Like, if you're one of those players that needs to play Marines just to get that competitive win because of like some weird internal feelings that you've got, then I'm really sorry for you, but maybe just try having fun instead. I want every army to be as powerful as Marines are right now, though. I don't want Marines to be nerfed. I was talking about this in the Hellstorm stream last night. I want every other army to come up to that level of absolute bullshittery and power, but in their own way. Like, I don't want an individual guardsman to become stronger than a Marine. I mean, alright, Slimarbo perhaps, but I want the army as a whole to function in the way it's designed to function, to be as strong as that current Marine Codex and so on. Nurgle Matthew, you are a boss. Full beast mode. However, like, Imperial Knights for sure. Like, then it's Chaos bullshit. Despite the fact that mine look like Iron Warriors, they are totally loyalist. So just getting a little bit of a sort of shine put on, this little crescent highlight. And we're kind of stippling this on, but it's more very, 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 very tiny, precise brush strokes, just the tip of the brush. Max KO! Oh, Max KO. Thank you for that subscription. Much appreciated, dude. Welcome. Name I've not seen before, so always appreciate them subs, man. There you go. So, look at that bad boy. Properly glowing. Properly glowing. Got Cyphus Kane as a character at Rest on Madluck. Yeah, someone said Yarrick should also be a beast mode. Yarrick should not be the same fortitude levels as a Space Marine. He should not. I know he's meant to have gone hand to hand with Gazgol. No. just no. Absolute no. Jake's in the chat like, wait. No. Right, we need the best colour ever. And good purple. This'll do. We need Hooker Lipstick Pink. That Vallejo Sunset Red. Oh yeah. Because the eye isn't finished. The eye is not finished. Wait, sisters players at the event. Not this one. Not this one. There was the last event I attended. I got a win in Game 3 against one to just barely scrape 3rd place at the event. Sisters are tough. Sisters are super tough. Boys been Marines, no meta chase here. Finally got my first prize, guys. Thanks to Dartus. Hey man. For those Marine players like you, then please just go and examine the outside world. No, I mean, like, honestly, I give plenty of people shit for chasing the meta. I do. Because I think it's fun to do more than anything else, because they get wound up by it. Like, meta chasers will say, no, I love the lore. I really love the lore. I always wanted to play Inari ever since they were, like, a one-word line in Rogue Trader. Or things like, oh, I've always wanted an Iron Hands army ever since, like, 6th edition. I promise. Anyone that's like that is just talking shit 90% of the time. And so I love just, like, poking with like, meta chasing. You know, if you keep chasing it, you might catch it. Don't worry. Because it's great fun. But to anyone that just plays the army because they love it, that's fantastic, man. It's the same reason I play Knights. I love them. T-Bone 2 Max, we've absolutely had that conversation before and recently, in fact. The only time that we will ever get around to doing that is if it's done properly. So there will be a stream rig that we'll need to buy for upstairs. There will need to be new cameras for upstairs to go on the gaming table. We'll need to have different studio lights for a completely different setup. We'll need to have multiple well-painted armies, multiple opponents that are of the correct competitive level to do what I would rather do with a battle report, and all of the production value that you'd expect from a sporting event. We want scores coming up. We want stratagems when they're used to come up on the screen, at least in brief, like the shorthand. So someone plays Vets of Long War, Veterans of Long War, +1 to wound. Doesn't need to be the whole thing, just needs to be a brief snippet. Animations, you name it. If I ever do anything like that, that's the only way I'm going to do it, is when it's done properly. That's it. And it will be live stream. And that's it. Won't do videos, won't do short form, won't do written. Everything will be just as so before I do it. So the likelihood is not so much slim to anorexic as like anorexic to Kate Moss. That's the range that you're looking at for that. There you go, Max. Yeah, Chasing the Metal Yarn is 7th. Now you like the lore. Hey, by that point, man, you've got to just embrace it, yeah? Like, fuck it, I'm with you, Nari, now. We love them. Go with it. Only because Amazon Prime, they get so mad when you call them out. It's pretty funny. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But we all need our little kicks, right? Poking the meta chasers. That's one of them. Never played a game in my life, just collecting minis. Nice, dude. Do you collect one particular thing, or just like, I love this one, I'm going to paint this one now. I love this one, I'm going to paint this one now. That kind of thing. That is a very high bar. But there's too many people out there doing battle reports, right? 1 second, whatever that was. Kintail X, thank you for that follow. Welcome. There are a lot of people out there doing battle reports. Alright, and they are already doing it well. Look at the production value. Nurgle Matthew with a follow as well. Much appreciated, dude. 2 new names to the stream. Thank you. Yeah, look at Tabletop Titans. Look at Tabletop Tactics. I'd say look at Mini Wargaming, but one of my criteria was competitive players. And so they've already got a really, really good stranglehold on the market. Yeah, Hellstorm Wargaming. One of their videos goes out looking at like 7,000 to 10,000 views for a battle report. That's mad. That's just mad. So to play along the big boys like that, you have to be different. You have to be special. So why do the same on a worse production value? I've got no interest in this at all. You could say there's a lot of people that just do painting, and you'd be 100% right. And there are people that stream or have Patreons and so on that are, technically speaking, way better painters than me. There's, show them how it's done. There you go. There you go. However, there are very few painters with my particular style of doing things. So I feel that what I put out is a somewhat unique product. and therefore might be worth somebody's time watching it or listening to it. Right, tiny little purple dots either side of that eye. Let's try and get him in focus. There you go, you can see that now. Give that extra little bit of detail. Gorilla Miniature Gaming, yeah. Yeah, he's good. He's got good production value. He's a decent dude. He's entertaining. Overall, pleasant guy to watch. But I'm not into Kill Team, which is the sort of thing that he does a lot more of. And again, for me, because of my own interests, and you can only really do what you love, right? Especially something like this, where it is a second job. You know, it impacts your life, your social life, and so on to a large degree at times. You've got to really love it. It's got to be something that you're passionate about, obviously. And competitive 40k is something I'm passionate about, so that's the way we do it. Alright. Just going to tidy up a little of that. I'm going to grab a little of our Signar Blue base and carefully correct this tiny mistake that we made. Just there. Notice I'm not doing a pupil on the eye. If I do, it's honestly not going to look right. I want it to be like an all-seeing eye, no pupil. It's a magical thing. It just picks up everything around it. Yeah, SN, they're good. Love Pardo, solid dude. So, Winter's SEO, I like him. I find it difficult to keep my attention on his stream. Not sure why. Just find myself sort of drifting off. I normally watch a battle report while I paint, and if he's on, I'm just kind of painting and not looking up so often. Personality, that's what counts, right? That's what keeps a relationship going through the years. Couldn't tell you. It's at least what starts a relationship, I guess. Right, let's get some mouth white on. Let's start working on all of these bone, talons, claws, you name it. Again, going to want to work thin because the weather, the humidity is pretty gross. So we're going to take a couple of coats. So we've just done something cool and interesting, which was the eye. Let's get some base coats down on this stuff, which is going to be a bit boring now, and then we'll go back to something else that's kind of interesting. Perhaps with maybe making some of his tattoos look a little bit more electric. Maybe not with blue. Let me start glazing in some other colours on that one. So yeah, one day, perhaps in the absence of anything better to do, there may be battle reports, but it's not even going to be next year. It won't be. I won't be moving the rig up and downstairs just to put on a battle report. Risk of dropping it downstairs is too much. That sounds silly, but you know, without a computer, no Twitch stream. And obviously being self-funded, things take time. Jake's finally learned how to play, so we've got one good competitive player around here now. They also need to have personalities. Like, I know a great many competitive players that are somewhat robotic. It's not good for a stream. I've watched streams with robotic players or players that are just like, this guy's a dick. Both myself and Jake are definitely dicks. But we're not assholes. Hear me out. Really long cables. Nope. No, Matthew, this is a commission job. This is for one of the guys in the channel called Rocky Balboa, who asked if I would do Magnus for him to a display standard. So we're nearly finished. We're going to just sort of keep the model very, very simple like this, and then I'll throw it on a flat black base and, you know, sorted. Rocky, if you heard that, probably joking. No, we've got a base that we're getting commission sculpted. There's going to be a sight to behold. Going big with it. We have only done this part of it. The rest of the mini is in pieces. It's been cleaned and it's been put into sub-assemblies, but it's not been even undercoated yet. Just to make sure we can't sort of skip ahead. We've got to get the base parts done before we're allowing ourselves to move on to the more interesting stuff. After we've done this, we're going to move on to the wings. So once the blue is all finished and the main bulk of the guy for the, you know, the sort of trunk of the model is sorted, then we're on to the wings, because that's going to be a gigantic pain in the ass getting all of these done. We're going to airbrush it. We're definitely not doing this by hand. You know. Want these to be super smooth. Want those little under highlights that we're going to be putting in there to keep our mother of pearl looking effect we're going for alive. That's got to be done. Looking computer is not fun. Yeah. No brown rims at all. So why so many people enjoy tabletop tactics because it entertains personalities? Yeah, exactly, man. Like, Lawrence is a decent guy. Beard is my favourite. I like Bone, but sometimes he can be a little bit negative. 2 jumpers, 1 stash, JN. Thank you for the follow. That's a hell of a name. Welcome to the stream. Today is definitely not 2 jumpers weather. It's not even 1 jumper weather. Oh, Zabin, I totally get that. My cat's a white cat. I wear a lot of black, which means I actually wear a lot of grey. I love my cat, but for fuck's sake, the molting is something else. Right, there are talons on the back here. I thought there were. Got to find the other one. There we go. So they're only on one side of the feathers, which is a bit weird, but makes sense the way that the legs were sculpted, I guess. Alright, done those, making sure there's nothing else on this part of the figure. I know underneath this arm there's a couple of bone protrusions. Just want to cut in the underside of those a bit more. You have a black cat and a white cat, and unfortunately hairs don't cancel each other out. Oh, damn, man. Mine is white with black spots. Well, actually, they're extremely, extremely dark brown rather than black, because in sunlight she looks brown. And yes, you're completely correct. They do not cancel each other out. Girl I just started seeing has got 3. She's got a tabby, a tortoiseshell, and then this really, really ancient cat who's like part Siamese, part Manx. The cat's called Mr. Pigs. I'm not sure why. It wasn't her cat. She sort of inherited the cat. This cat is 21. Like, damn. That cat... His cat is like 7 years or 5 years. I can never remember. But either way, that kitty is somewhere between 125 and 147. Fuck me. Dude's venerable. Back side of those, and then we can do the times on the hands. We've got the other hand to do as well, which we must not forget. Magnus the blue, absolutely, dude. To the Smear, you can do it either way for a commission. Before anyone asks, I am booked too far ahead to be able to take any more commissions on at the moment. If you do the assembly, it saves you money. So that's a good reason to do the assembly, because I'm not spending time doing it. However, oh dude, thank you very much for that sub. World of Gaming TV, let's get some love in the stream for you. What a boss. Absolute beast mode with that sub today. Yeah, if you want to assemble a mini, great, crack on, do it. No issues whatsoever, right? But mold lines kill minis. Flat, stone dead. One mold line, paint job's gone to shit. Gaps not being filled. Who's seen all those Space Marine Outriders with the gigantic cavity in the middle of that front fairing? They look shite as a consequence. So, if you want to do the assembly and you want to send me your work, it must be perfect. Or I'm going to have to take my time cleaning it up, which is going to cost you money. So I allow customers and clients to do it themselves if they want, but they sign a contract to state flat out that they're paying for it if it goes wrong. And I have to sort of step in and do the work for them. And I hate assembly. It's my least favourite part of the hobby. So, no, Kets, by the way. And so I price that highly because I don't want to do it. Cleaning mold lines off minis is the worst part of what we do. Rather paint checkered patterns than clean mold lines. That's how bad we're at that level. Timmy Spruce, thank you very much. He's completely right, folks. Get on it. Gonna get that whip out. See what you all have been up to. Hey, good evening, dude. How's it going? I'll take mold lines over gaps any day. Yeah, it's not relaxing. It's a war against mold lines and gaps. Keith Drummer 333. My fitted blight hauler I just put together has a huge gap on the bottom of the chassis, but I'm a noob, so probably my fault. Maybe, dude. I've not actually assembled one of those. I don't know if there's any like particular trick to it or anything. I know my housemate put 3 together, and I haven't seen any huge gaping chasms, and he's not allowed to assemble anything that I'm painting because he doesn't really do a good job of it. So we banned him from that for any commissions for the future. So yeah, like if he managed it, then maybe you got a bad sculpt. Ben don't give a fuck. I mean, Ben's normally assembling whilst under the influence of alcohol. So, ever painted Archaon? No, mate. That's one of the ones from Sigmar that I really want to paint. Archaon, Ariel on her Scarab Beetle thing. In fact, a lot of the Sylvaneth stuff I like, the biggest like tree men and all that. Although Dryker I'm not overly sold on. I think she looks a bit weird. The big turtle. I fucking love the big turtle for the fish people. Zen, how you doing? Very first 40k vehicle, planning getting 2 more, so start continues. Mate, 3 is a good choice with those. Very good choice. Very strong right now as well. So, boobs on what? 40k drunk building paint is incredible. Alcohol gets paint on minis. I've normally got a whiskey when I'm painting. I don't on stream, it's just apple juice. Twitch, TV if you're listening. But certainly in the evenings I like to relax that. It's a nice little nightcap. So can confirm, potentially it helps get paint on minis. Don't try this at home, kids. What do you think about the new Teclis model? I think it's fucking terrible. I think it's absolute dog shit. There have been worse minis from Games Workshop than that. It's just so bland and boring. It's an army centerpiece, for fuck's sake. It's meant to be the one thing that in your entire army people look at and go, whoa. And instead people look at it and go, I don't get it. Why doesn't he just, like, sit on it? Kets, honestly, right now, there isn't a best place. The best thing to do is to follow me on Instagram. And then the next time I'm free for a commission, when we have things come up, I will put a post up saying, look, you know, we're looking into more commissions being taken. Let me know what you'd like to have painted. And I am very fortunate to be in a position where, because this is not my main job, and it's something I do for sort of stogie money and holiday money and so on, I can be picky about what I want to take on, so I can choose from the people that contact me what I would like to paint out of the things that they're asking me to. There's no focal point. I think that's right, but there's also nothing that defines it very well. There's no... Part of it's their paint job. Alright. I rag on GW for their paint jobs frequently, and I don't think they've done a bad job of the painting in terms of like the technical skill involved. But I feel that their paint scheme that they have used has nothing that really reaches out and grabs you. Right? This guy, blue, and if all it was blue, like, yeah, cool, it's blue, like, whatever, dog. But look at, you can't not look at the hand. You can't not. It's like Hypnotoad level of thing. No, Matthew, my bosses know. I pay taxes and everything, dude. Like, this is legit. There's no point in doing something like this and trying to keep it on the sly. I didn't tell them when I got the job that I was a commission artist when I first started with the company many years ago now. Because it was something I just started doing. It's like a side gig, and it was I just paint a few minis for some friends or whatever. Zombies, how you doing? Everyone, go check out Zombies. Give her a follow. She's awesome. But then much later on, when it became a thing, I was like, look, just so you guys know, this is what I do on my evenings and weekends. And they were like, all right. Cool. Does it impact your work? No. All right, sweet. And that was that. And then obviously once we got onto Twitch and everything, and that kicked off to the point where we're at now. I made sure that I told my employers about that as well. But pay taxes, get all that shit done. The worst punishments for any like breaking of the law in the UK is when you impact the government's bottom line. Tax evasion is right up there. No, what are you painting today? We are painting Magnus the Blue. So we've got his little Kopesh style sword. We've got the face of Magnus looking very stern and a little bit focused and ideally not constipated. And then the gigantic Magnus the Shred ripped ass body that this guy's got. He's gone full blue. Like an absolute beast. And right now we've done all the skin tones, we've done the highlights that we're going to do so far. We may come back at the end when the mini is assembled and add a couple more in, but for now we've done everything we're going to do. We've done a couple of like glowy orange bits. Now we're just looking at getting the base coats down on our bone layers. So you got the fingers, the talons, claws, whatever you want to call them. So we get some detail on the mini. And we get some silver out, and we'll just work on the like plugs and pipes and stuff that he's got. That makes no sense whatsoever, and that face on the bird is an eyesore. Oh, you're talking about the cow elves. I think the only mini out of that entire line that I like is the cow elf special character. The one that's got the big hammer and everything. But I don't look at that and think elves whatsoever. I think if I painted that in a couple of different colour schemes, that would make a fucking awesome Chaos Minotaur. They keep doing that with elf stuff. Like years and years and years ago, when the Wood Elves first got their line of miniatures released, I had a Wood Elf army. So just before I started working for GW, I think. And one of the shamans that came out, I bought it to use as a conversion in a Chaos army because I fucking loved it. It was this dude that was sort of stood there with his arms like just slightly out in front of him like this. And he looked like an old Indian, like American Indian shaman. I thought if I did him with like red cloth, just rising up on like some evil power, did some underlighting for him, he would look awesome. And he did. He looked really, really cool. He was a great mini in my Chaos Undivided army. Really enjoyed that. That was a cool mini. So a lot of the elf minis that they've done over the years have had definite conversion like properties. Potential. That was what I was trying to think of just then. Definite conversion potential. Mel would have spell it. That's it. Yes. Yeah, he was awesome. Do not mess. That's how good he was. It's all good, brother. Welcome to the stream this evening. That's the best thing about lurking in the stream is every now and again something happens. You're like, I need to comment on this one thing because I also agree or love or hate or whatever it is that you're saying. At least we're getting the detail picked out now. And the giant that is Magnus the Blue. I'm hoping that for next stream, Thursday. Let's see, maybe Thursday. Yeah, possibly Thursday. I'm trying to talk myself into it now. Thursday, I'm thinking we can start on the wings. But all of the feathers on the body I'm going to do off camera because I'm going to need to manipulate this guy quite heavily and the camera shots will be terrible to get the airbrush onto these wings without fucking the blue up too much. So might not be Thursday, I might have to do something else in the interim, even if it's just like paint a few bits of armor or the sword. Might do the sword actually. Oh god, yeah, fuck yeah, that would be sick. We could do the sword. If you get the hand done, varnish, masked, might be able to get a sword blade done. Sword blade obviously going to be orange. How could it not be? It's an amazing contrasting colour to blue. Nice metallic fiery orange. Or we do non-metallic metal, like non-metallic silver. Yeah, maybe we do non-metallic silver. Because then having the non-metallic silver with the little flaming orbs, orange. I can see that. I can see that real well. So to think about. Right, we are just gone 11 o'clock. Which means we've got about 10 minutes, 15 minutes perhaps, before we get into the work in progress gallery. So if you've got something that you've been working on that you would like to show off, get some of your work on stream, exclamation point Discord, head on over to the work in progress gallery there, upload a couple of photos. No more than 3. Let's make sure everyone gets their chance to be shown on stream. We'll give you some feedback, some critique. If at all necessary, you might be perfect. You might be the best artist in the stream right now. You might not need any critique. I might be asking you for the critique. Who knows? We won't know till we've seen your minis. Also, exclamation point win and exclamation point mystery to find out more about our prizes this month. The last stream of the month is likely to be a Tuesday night. I'll explain why it's likely in a minute, which will be the 29th of September. Tuesday the 29th September. However, that is a day that I travel back from No Retreat, and it may very well be that, especially with wearing a mask for a vast proportion of my day, being on public transport, planes, trains and automobiles in fact, that I may not be in the right frame of mind to stream. Might be too tired. And so if that is the case, the last stream will be the Thursday, the 1st October. So technically speaking, first stream of the new month for the giveaways, but we're not going to miss them, don't you worry. Love giveaway streams. Best streams giveaway stream. I get to give something back to you guys who spent all month sat there putting up with my talking shit. Knowing you're sick by the time you get home, I don't know. I'm really hoping not. Also, hi Janelle. There's a lot of precautions that we're taking for the event itself on the boat. It's like a full, like, masked up thing. All the common areas, masks on, and so on. So, really hoping to not catch the COVID. That would suck. Also, we've streamed ill before, you know, and it's giveaway stream day, so there's plenty of reasons for me to want to stream as well. So that, I worked out what that was. That was my allergies. So I have a mild dust allergy, and I find that if I use weathering powders with a face covering on, I'm fine. It doesn't really affect me. But I went through a spate at the start of the year where I was getting a cold every 2 weeks. I couldn't work it out, and it was just my allergies. It's like a big sinus thing. So headache and sinus pain, where they're inflamed, could barely see and stuff from that. And what basically came down to was weathering powders and pigments and stuff being used in large quantities without a mask, inhaling that dust, and then issues. Alright, there you go. So we've got those done. What are you asking? I wear a mask on stream frequently, or at least occasionally, rather not frequently. When I'm doing stuff that I need to wear a mask for. Priming, that's a big one. Spraying a lot of metallics, that's another big one. Speaking of metallics, let's get on it. Let's go something quite bright to begin with. We're going to use the Vallejo metal color airbrush stuff. This stuff. It's the chrome. Oh, I see. Sorry. Today it's very hot. It's very humid and muggy. I've got a little bit of a stomach upset, so I was feeling a little bit like about a stream tonight. Mostly because it's hot as balls, though. I can do one. Right, let's get all these little plugs from when Magnus was a real boy. And the reason we've gone bright is because I want it to be really contrast to the blue. This is a chrome color, so there's a little bit of blue in it, but we're not talking about a color shift, we're talking about a hue, a value change rather. Sorry, not a hue change, a value change. So some of these areas are quite dark, and I've washed all of these plugs to make sure the area of the skin around it is a little darker as well. So having something that's super bright here and there, just pick out a little bit of interest, we're all happy with. So again, nice fall weather. Nice. We're still getting like I think they call it an Indian summer, where September's actually pretty warm, lots of sun. I tried to go for a walk on the river yesterday after the Hellstorm stream though, because I was sort of sat here, it's like, yep, sunny day, cool, I have plenty of time for a walk after stream, and I completely forgot that sunset is like 7:30 now. So I looked outside, it was pitch black, and I haven't got a torch. Fuck this. Madeus, I'm kind of the same, like the heat kills me. It's different if I'm in a kitchen where it's different kind of heat and so on. But just like stagnating in anything approaching higher than 15 or so, like yourself, it's my brain sort of shuts down a bit. We find it hard to think. 21C. But hey, Gibraltar, where it's going to be a balmy fucking mid-30s or something next week. Chicken fingers. Damn, man. There is a name I've not seen for a little while. How are you doing, brother? Welcome back, man. Oh, lucky you, your humidity is like a fucking swamp in here. Like the back of my neck is sweating slightly. That's the thing that's really annoying me right now, is I can feel that. That's just nasty. Gonna finish the stream, go and have a shower, go to sleep. I'm gonna want that shower. Hit another angle on those. I'm going to finish this one off. These metals are so good. So good. They've got great coverage for something that is crazily thin. And they are so bright and shiny as well. I want chicken fingers. Yeah. Cheapest. There's the same metal on all those pipes on this other arm. Part of me wonders when Magnus has still got these, because clearly being a Demon Primarch of Zench, the changer of ways and so on, doesn't need them. So did they sculpt them on just to go, look, he used to be a Space Marine, right? He's a Primarch, it's a big deal. Or they sculpt them on because they thought, yeah, Magnus be sentimental about being a Space Marine in the past, so, you know, we'll give him the Matrix plugs. Not sure on that decision. I think they're a cool part of the mini. They add a lot to it. Definitely tie it to that Space Marine heritage that he's got, but it's a slightly weird choice. Anyone know? Anyone got the inside skinny on why they went with this? Did the stream just die? I just got a notification of welcome to the chat room come up on the thing. Cider Gamer 24, thank you for that follow. Welcome to the stream, dude. Part of the irony of ascending, like, of course the change of ways wouldn't cleanse him of his past. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. To be a fluff twerp, I don't think the Primarchs need the armor plugs at all. They're like custodes. Well, explain how Magnus was clearly part of the Matrix then. What are all these about? This is all a bit strange if that's the case. I mean, it's not like he would have done it because like his legion were like, oh, you know, I kind of need to look like the boys, because he'd look like the inside of a vacuum cleaner if that was the case. There's no bonding. Not at this stage. That time's come and gone. Just making sure I haven't missed any plugs. We've got some like weird dots on there, but I think we've got the rest of those. Looks like it. Groove. Oh wait, no, it's one up here on his neck. From his creation, the pots could have been actually, yeah, that makes sense. It's not like a black carapace thing or anything. Getting the power armor going up. It's from his creation. Could be the case. Look at how bright that is in comparison to the blue. Obviously, all these can get a nice wash of some iPad strong tone. Darken them right down. That's why we started off with such a bright layer, though. It's just plenty of contrast when we get those shadows in. And we go into the whip as soon as we've done these two tubes and those little spikes here. Those little dots, studs, I think we call them. Oh my days, that sucks, man. There we go. Just these two pipes, and then it's whip time. So exclamation point Discord, go and head over there if you've got something that you want to show off on stream. Get some pictures uploaded to the work in progress channel. Maximum of 3, don't be greedy. Make sure everybody else gets a chance to show off what they want to do as well. Starting to get there now. Starting to look a lot less like Michelangelo's David if he was a Smurf. There you go, happy days, right? Happy days. Boom. So, like we said earlier on, giveaway stream is likely to be Tuesday the 29th. Where so far in the Winner Mini Painted by Me giveaway, we have the choice of Sergeant Joven, the limited edition store anniversary marine, or a Gloomspike Gets Loon Boss, because those mushrooms are super, super, super cool. There will be a mystery box presentation done, but I'll wait till the actual giveaway date itself. Oh, that's so grim. So grim. Right, let's go see what's in the whip. day from 9:30. Right, here we go. So this is Danny, our print you one. He's painting some of the Austriarch Bone Reapers. We've got maybe some priming done. And then here we go. This is the diorama he's been working on for a while. Added in some Sigmar stuff at the bottom. We've got a nice little brazier on the side there. And then of course the yet to be painted converted Inquisitor out on the side. Hobo J, yellow done on the pads. Nice, dude. Nice. I only see 10 here. See, it's not enough. Do you care if I guide the raid to the sculptor guy again? See on bush, we stick to the mini community. The way I sort of look at the guide the raid thing is that that's like solid suggestions. So, you know, by all means go for it. But it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to actually go that way. Crazy Anked. 1 week later. Oh, here we go. I feel that you might have rushed Cesaras a bit. That is a beautiful miniature. Mine's still in the box, waiting for a chance to be assembled, painted. He looks super, super cool. And I think you can definitely do, you know, a bit of a special paint job on that guy. But I'm liking what you're doing, mate. Here we go. We've got green crons. We've got a slight sort of bone going on. Bit of an up close shot. Scorpec Lords looking tidy. Nice, dude. Very, very nice indeed. Quick job. Painted for speed, I feel. Good. For the bricks, you can buy those bricks on like Amazon. I bought 500 of the things from Green Stuff Raw a few years ago. I bought a load more from Amazon recently to base all my Necrons on. Just little clay bricks. They're tiny. You can snap them as well. So I noticed that most of these are solid, but just grab a load and just sort of snap them up with your hands. Or like put them in a bag and hit them with a rolling pin or something so you've got a few that are broken. And then chuck them on the bases. So, Crownblade says work continues. Got a Van Saar dude going on. I used these for some assassin conversions. I thought they were really good for that. I'm not really into Necromunda, not so much these days anyway. It's good, man. It's good. The armor looks a bit flat. Get some edge highlights in there to really bring out some of those edges a bit more, perhaps. Same with the metals, especially the shoulder pad trim you've got there. Yeah, I think because of the surface you've got now, where it's something that would be metallic and would be sort of shining up a little bit, you can definitely sort of push it a little bit more with your highlights. But nice work, dude, as always. Very tidy. Right, Saragon. Threw down some of my main army colours and started playing around with how it all looks. So we've got a rail side here. I like it. I like your tag colour scheme in general. You need to be a bit careful with the OSL that you've got going on here. With the engines for all of your ships, the main glow, the main part of the power that you've got coming out of it is contained within the engine, so on the inside of it. Whereas here on the shoulders, you've got the glow on the outside of it as well as the inside. If you imagine that you were sort of thinking about the light that's coming out of these areas in a very scientific way, the light emanates from the middle part and wouldn't touch any of the outside part. So you can get a little edge highlight on the bottom of those that'll help bring that in. but be careful, especially when you're doing airbrushed OSL. You don't go too far outside the rumps. Light goes in straight lines. It doesn't bend, it doesn't twist. So just bear that in mind when you're doing some more of the OSL. However, that being said, it looks cool. So just rule of cool, it's all good. That's just a completely peasant amount of channel points. Can't believe I'm still letting you be a mod with those. So yeah, same on the gun. You've got some areas here that would have the glow, such as like further down the gun. Then you've got areas with power coils where they wouldn't extend that far, sort of out from the main area. So blue and orange, never a bad combo. Magnus, blue and orange, you know, it's on deck. Solid color choice. I like it, dude. It looks very cool. Just bear in mind that the OSL that you've got is more of just I'm painting it this way with an airbrush effect rather than creating a light source. If you want to go for that, you just got to change that down a little bit. Cake Fisk, I don't know, something is off. Perhaps the black was too much, or perhaps purple needs to go. I don't know. It's close to an okay pattern I have done though. It's uneven as fuck. I don't really see anything wrong with it from a colour scheme perspective, mate. I think the black's fine. I quite like that. You've gone a bit outside the lines here and there. You know, a little untidy with your portholes. You know, the checks are in need of some definite tidying up, mate. Looks like the guidelines that you've put in weren't necessarily the straightest and were a bit thick. So I definitely tidy that back up. Deadload Ore, thank you for the follow. You can go back in with like the sort of base coat, the black, and just sort of tidy up the edges and then slim down some of the dividing lines that you've got there, and it will look a lot tidier when you do that. The purple I think is great. Yeah, I think your colour scheme is spot on, dude, but it's just a few bits to refine it. Like the silver propellers on the wings, that looks like just a flat coat of silver. Like, get some more shade in there, then get some highlights in afterwards, maybe get some weathering and all that sort of stuff going on. There's lots of those kind of elements to the miniature that could do a little bit more, but it's all clearly still a bit of a whip. So keep going with what you're going. Overall, I like where you're headed with this, mate. I do, genuinely. Recess shade, all of those gold balls, you know. Get in there, just get the recesses down with a flesh shade maybe. Would work quite well. Help tie it into the purple a bit, you could use purple. The base is cool. You probably get some pigments on there to really jazz up some of the bit that isn't the water. Water's obviously taken a lot of your attention. The rest of it just needs a little bit more love. But the basics of what you've got there, looking at it from a distance, this is good. Bit of tidying, bit of refining, and you're there. The Johnsonator, right, here we go. Here we go, look at that power sword. Loving this guy. Got obviously some more corn dudes. Bare arm. Volkite pistol. Super sick, mate. Super, super sick. It's one of my favourite armies. Just hands down. Santi. Love mum tattoo, he says. Oh, right there on his lower back. So you've got a little Celtic thing going up on the top. And then a little heart with mom written on it. Nice. Very nice, dude. Yeah, I like this a lot, mate. You got the woad tattoos going on his face and everything. He's a bit blown out by the lighting, so it's hard to see some of the details. But I like it. That's cool. Have we got another photo? Not yet. Santi, great work. Great work. Is that kind of a Betrayer? I don't think so. I mean, it might be. I'm not sure. Might be a conversion 4, but... Oh, it's the 30k version of one. Right, I'm with you. I think I've seen it. Des, proof I've done something. Getting some of these tabletop ready. Obviously need heads and more highlights. The blue has been done, but doesn't really show up on camera. Well, there's 3 eradicators. But I'm more interested in this picture, because obviously we've then got a nice in focus shot. Yeah, I can see there's highlights there, man. I think you could probably do with some more shadows in, especially around the feet, that sort of crenellated thing at the front of his foot. Get a couple of quick recesses in there. That would be cool. Yeah, looking good, dude. I hate these things. Really hate these things. Fair enough, George. You're definitely the expert of the two of us on 30k. Toonie Sprues. Right, gonna prime this and maybe add some more scattered cork. So this is the base that he was doing for the Riptide that he has been restoring. I feel is probably the best word for it. Deadloader, yeah, that's one of the Gravis eradicators. So, out of the Indomitus box. There you go. Notice, single melter version. Toonie Spruce, good luck with that base, man. Good luck with that base. T-Bone to Max, my Noggle Spawn, one of my first 40k models. I recently revisited it to try and make the most of the dry brushing. Not sure I should have added the blood, but it was a decision after getting my first pot of blood for the Blood God. Okay. I am always heavily biased against using blood effects on minis because the vast majority of the time it does not look accurate. I've seen, unfortunately, most of my own, but I've seen quite a lot of blood and it's never this colour. That being said, what you've done here on the models themselves for the most part is really good. On the bases, I think it's a bit much or a bit nah. But on the minis, especially the second one in from the left here, I think he looks great because he looks like he's just got hands that have just been scrabbling around in somebody for a bit. Yeah, I'm down with what you've got going on here, mate. Yeah, like the backpack. So the barnacled look they've got to it. You've done all this dry brushing. You could definitely go in there and just glaze in a couple of highlights here and there just to tidy some of that up. The dry brushing gives you that kind of chalky finish to it, and you could definitely pick out some more of the sort of ridges on the skin and just fade those in with a little bit of the glaze. The dry brush is giving you the roadmap to where your highlights need to be, so it's done half the work for you. You could go in there and just tidy a little bit up, unless you really like the dry brush aesthetic. Alright, George. He's got an Imperial Fist falling off of some stairs with a Son of Horus So it's a little bit of a duel going on. Bolt gun versus bolt guy. And I'm guessing the bad guy fired the first shot. Or many shots from that perspective. He's been hit. Your yellow's a bit thick, mate. We do a load of painting yellow here. It might be worth just going back and watching some of that. See how we got through the airbrush and so on. Because this looks a little bit clumpy in places. Which is a shame, because the details you've got on there are pretty good. Again, I'm not a huge fan of blood on stuff. I think you'll find that if somebody was wearing a suit of power armor and they got shot through it, there probably wouldn't be that much blood coming out of it. It would sort of leak inside the armor. So you could restrain a lot of that. Could everyone stop getting shot? Yeah, exactly right. Flight stand and base for your Storm Eagle. Cool, that makes sense. This is like a Lee special as well, so I love that side of it. Can you not count? Let's look at this guy. Yeah, Sons of Forest look good, dude. He looks a bit glossy in some places though. I don't know if that's a decal you've got or just the shoulder, perhaps. Because his head and the shoulder look super glossy, whereas the rest of him doesn't. Maybe worth just giving a quick varnish. And you've definitely missed opportunity to do some weathering on that barrel. And of course you haven't drilled his bolt gun barrel. Bad George. Cool. 3 in future, please do. Just make sure everyone else gets a chance. But there you go. There's a I forgot what these are called. The 2-gun dudes. If no oil dried shiny, firstly, don't use Nolan oil. It's a bit shit. Secondly, hit it with a varnish. Yeah? Change it all back to the same finish that you want. So number 4 sets come along, but forgot to put white on the destroyer blades. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And you're missing one as well. You're missing one. Do them all at once. Get the next one done, and then get all the blades done all in one go. I like your colour scheme though, mate. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of green. The rest of it's quite dark and sinister. It's good. What would you use in place of Nolan oil? So I don't rate any of the Games Workshop washes, with 2 exceptions. One of them is Seraphim Sepia, which is one of the best washes that they have ever made, and that includes Chestnut Ink. Honestly. The other one is Drakenhof Nightshade, which I use a lot for shading blue. It's a really good dark blue that's towards the sort of navy side of the blue spectrum, and that's brilliant for washing stuff or using it through the airbrush to just tone something down. But the rest of their washes are just a bit meh. I know people rant and rave about Agrax and Nolan oil, but Army Painter's dark tone and strong tone just outweigh them in every single way. Desi selects his GW purple wash. I paint its purple tone. I've used more than one bottle of that, and they're 18ml bottles. There's a lot in them. It's super good. I think everyone should stop using Nolan oil and start using dark tone. Try it. You know, dark tone's cheap. That's another reason to buy it. You know, it's cheaper than Nolan oil by a decent margin, a couple of quid. But yeah, Nolan oil, I'm not a fan. And if you want a shiny finish, take a little gloss medium or gloss varnish, mix it in, paint it on, done. If you really want a nice glossy finish, oil wash. loads of things you can do. The Games Workshop washes, I genuinely don't think are very good. I use a lot of GW paints. Here's a couple we've been using today. Yeah, the Trollstar Orange, Flash Gets Yellow, love Flash Gets Yellow. But I'm not going to tell you guys to go and buy a product that is inferior to another one. George, sorry mate, we've seen enough. Santi, additional pick. So we saw one earlier on. Here's the one from the front. He's got his face paint going on, little war paint. Nice, dude. I think you need to do a little bit on the eyes. He looks a little bit starey. Eyes are tricky though. They are just tricky. You just need to make the pupil just reach the edges a little bit. I've got to post a second image, he says. There you go, there's that Riptide. Finally reposed. Finally rescued. He's even got the break in the floor tiles underneath that foot as well. Are the floor tiles made of cardboard? Because it looks like they might be. I would probably seal these with some PVA and let it really dry, and then add your paint. Otherwise it might just soak up a lot of the paint and cause you a slight issue. But good luck, dude. And then finally, Macy's here. New paints arrived. Screw you all, I can now enjoy painting, he says. That's very, very nice of you to say. There's a box of paint. Cool. We have paint. And that's that. That's the last of the whip. So, here he is. Magnus the blue / red himself. We've got the rest of the blue finished tonight with that awesome glowing eye in the center of the hand there. So much power coming from that. Got some of the scope work done for things like the silver, the bone, and I think for the next stream on Thursday we'll either do the sword, which I'm very tempted to do, and then try and do the wings on Saturday off stream. Certainly for all of the regular bits of Magnus himself, maybe that'd be the way we go. As we might do a sword blade on Thursday stream. I will let you guys know. Our VOD's open. Everything gets uploaded to YouTube pretty much straight away after the stream. It takes a couple of hours to get on there, but otherwise it does go up. So exclamation point YouTube for a link to that. You did use a cereal box. Cool. I'd seal them. What if one leaked? Could have leaked. Who knows? Who knows? There you go. Right, let's go find someone to raid. We've had a shout out for Senot Bush. I think it depends on what he's sculpting. Let's see what Malev is doing actually. I haven't raided Malev in a little while. Painting some Warcry stuff. Looking pretty gangster, I'm not going to lie as well. So Senot Bush is sculpting, and then we'll choose from the two. All I can see is a gigantic ass of some like weird spawn creature or something. Totally not sure of what this is. It's a big dinosaur looking thing. Let's go with Malev, because Malev's an absolute boss. I love him to bits. And I feel it's been a lot longer that we raided him than when we last raided Senot Bush. So, go say hi to Malev, get some hype in that stream. I am going to go to bed. I am very tired because of the heat. And I will see you guys on Thursday night, live at 9. Peace out, everyone. Have a good couple of days.
see it tastes.